coming to you live here from Fidim Municipality, headquarters of the Panchtar district in the province number 1 of Eastern Nepal. We're here today with Demi C. Wait, no?
What?
Not? No? Apparently we're doing something else. It's
GPO?
an ESL Open GPO. No, wait. I'm being told that's not it. ESL Open Cup number 106 Asia Division. I'm of course your host Yaku of the Zaku, and with me today is El Devorador de Macas que ayuda a prevenir chagas. Light _ VIP. How we doing, Light?
What's up, Yaku? Yes, even though GPO isn't back fully yet, instead we have something else. Basically the exact same thing. Fun fact, apparently these two players actually played against each other last week as well.
Oh, right. We missed that, didn't we?
We did miss that, yeah.
We really, yeah. I remember. It's coming back to me. Because we did. Yep. Anyway, yes, we do have our ZvZ on our hands with our Oceanic boys here. Kicking it off from Berliningrad in the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top left-hand corner. Going for a pool first, he is the Red Zerg player from India, representing Alpha X. He is Demi.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Berlingrad LE, we have the Australian Zerg player representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Oreo. Oh boy, and yeah, you just alluded to it, but yes, last week, I apologize to everyone, we did not end up casting ESL Open Cup Asia. Instead, we ended up casting a 7-hour, no, it was actually like a 12-hour long, but we only casted 7 hours of it, of of a Polish land, myself and Kuro.
I remember that well, actually, no, because I was asleep.
Oh god, it was a lot of fun.
I saw some memes though, yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was great to interact with a bunch of the Polish fans. But it destroyed us, mate. It absolutely destroyed us. Like
Poland will do that to you.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem with it was casting for 7 hours is fine, but there was a lot of downtime because it was offline and there were a bunch of interviews and there were technical issues, and in between each series, like, they had a stage, so the players had to set up on the stage, you know, and set up their peripherals and keyboards and everything. Like, yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Cool that there's some offline stuff going on, though.
Definitely.
Some lands coming back in, getting us ready for 2022.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 2022. It's going to be a big year. All the lands are coming back. Maybe one day we'll all be part of a LAN as well. Fingers crossed. If not this year, next year. We'll see.
Indeed, we shall. And speaking of lands, that's a very quick lair now, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it is. So, because we didn't get to cast ESL Open Cup Asia last week, these two players actually played in it, and I heard from Oreo, because he was very excited, he actually beat Demi last week in that tournament. So now, yeah, maybe a little bit. Oh my god, both players actually going for, both of them, they're going for the lairs!
As well as their Evo chambers at roughly the same time. Oreo, of course, being much quicker on that, and we got some Roach Wars coming down.
Exactly, we do have plus
Why am I
one.
not surprised?
Yeah. I mean, it's Berlingrad, you know, it makes sense, right? Like, the Russian system is pretty small, and if looking at all the players, like, not all the gases have been taken by either one of them, so it does seem to be both players are playing it safe, getting up to Roaches, and not risking getting an earlier third.
Yes. You mentioned you really don't want to risk that much when you have a map this small, do you? Especially since I'm not really sure how Demi is probably thinking of this particular matchup. Again, we unfortunately missed last week's ESL Open Cup Asia, but if you're Oreo right now, you gotta be at least a little bit worried, right, of Demi getting a map presence that's just completely out of control.
You gotta say, like, Demi holding a grudge, you know? Like, it's like this.
Listen.
This guy, this goddamn duckling, let's go, okay. Oh my god. But yeah, I mean, it does make sense. At the moment, we do see Demi trying to scout. I love this move, by the way. It looks like Oreo will deny the scout. He threw down a Spire, but quickly checking the vision, Demi Didn't see it.
Just barely didn't see it, man.
Oh my god.
Not even with the changeling.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, he sees that gases have been taken, but he's probably thinking that it's just for the roaches, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense, right? Demi, he's got his own gases. He's the one committing to roaches to double upgrades as well. And it's one of those things where Oreo isn't hard committing to mutas. Like, he's got a decent roach army, and he's planning to get enough mutas to harass and gain that map control and swing things in his favor. And because of, like, this style that he went for, like, something like a spine forest isn't really necessary, like, when you just go, like, wing into muta.
Yeah, you already have a little bit of more elastic defense on the ground, especially with the roaches out here. Doesn't need to be moving out with them too much. Again, he's using them more defensively, while the mutas... Okay, I'm waiting for the spider to finish, but while the mutas pop out and just completely mess up Demi's mineral lines.
Oh yeah, mutas are already on the way. Of course, what is scary is the fact that Demi is still working on a pretty large army. At any moment, it would push out across the map, and obviously he has enough to overwhelm Oreo despite his own roaches. But thankfully for Oreo, Demi's being pretty passive, to be honest. Like, he's just chilling at home, he's droning up, he's getting more bases, getting more gases, getting more upgrades, and just kind of chilling.
Yeah, the last thing you really want to happen right now, if you're Oreo, is to poke the Demi shark too much. You know, force Demi to go into an all-in where he sends every single roach across the map. But as you said, because of how more passively Demi's been playing, how much more economic focus has been, Oreo doesn't really have to worry too much about that.
Yeah, definitely. And I love the way that these mutas have been used, by the way. Like, Oreo didn't risk just going straight into a mineral line. Instead, he's killed, I think, 4 overlords. Like, they're just dying all over the map, and Demi getting a pretty heavy supply block there.
That's gonna help out in the roach wars, let me tell you that. Oreo already shooting up in terms of the RB supply. In terms of roaches, he's not too far behind either.
Yeah, this entire time he's just been pumping out roaches. He's also working on +2. Obviously, Oreo is behind in the upgrades because Demi does have carapace and his +2 timing is a little bit faster. But Demi can't move out right now. If he does, he's just going to lose a bunch of roaches for free.
Pretty much. These 6 mutas in the sky, this is a key right now for Oreo.
Pretty much, mate, pretty much. Like, Oreo, he's able to just maintain that map control. All those overlords are dead. The creep is being denied as well. And I'm a little bit surprised that Demi hasn't really done much else. Like, his queen count is still pretty sparse. And he hasn't, like, thrown down a Hydroden or his own Spire. Yeah?
I never know.
It's all good. But yeah, like, you know, he's just kind of Chilean, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's been hanging with Cristiano a lot lately. Unfortunately. we never wish that on on the worst of our enemies.
No, of course not, mate. Of course not. And it looks like Demi's answer to this is going to be borrowed roaches. So he's going to try and bypass these mutas and get across the map. The problem is that, like, again, there's detection out on the map, and Oreo's army is still pretty terrifying.
Especially since it's already making its way across the map. Upgrades are about even for now, but Oreo with the higher RB supply does have a really good position for Demi, though.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a great defensive position here, and Oreo can't really find a way in. But this +1 range is telling, +1 flyer attack is telling me that he's getting ready to lose roaches and then just go back into mutas. Especially because, again, the anti-air isn't really there for Demi.
Yeah, funnily enough, Oreo is actually the player who goes into Hydras first.
Yeah, what?
They're gonna be for lure.
Not gonna lie, I thought that was Demi. That's crazy.
It would make sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Oreo just, I guess, really wants to get into lurkers as a way to, siege down Demi's defenses.
Yeah, Oreo is basically getting everything he needs, and Demi is taking a really long time to respond. Finally, we see a hive on the way. We see a Hydroden. Demi also, it looks like he wants to get into that Hydro Lurker Viper, but again, a much later transition compared to Oreo.
Ooh, it's a very nice Biles landing. but not quite going to be enough to break in. Burrow Roaches are finally paying off.
Yeah, finally, the roaches, they get across the map. Even though they're immunes, like, we need detection to help deal with these. 7 drones get picked off, so Demi finally making some moves happen and finally giving himself some time to breathe and just, like, alleviating that pressure from Oreo.
And in addition to that, he's also just making sure that Oreo's never in a very comfortable worker count either. He still has quite a bit of a bank to work with, but once that's gone, not sure if he can really stay in the game for too much longer.
Pretty much. Demi tries to go for a bit of a 1-2 punch, but Oreo's already ready and waiting here at his third base, but he just keeps losing drones left and right. Finally, these are going to get cleaned up, but oh my god, the queens have both fallen in the main and the natural.
Feels like Oreo's on a timer now. He really needs to defeat this army and then move across the map as quickly as he can, but Demi is not making it easy on him. The stutter stepping is really pretty fantastic from the side of Demi.
Yeah, you know what, Oreo, though, he's had enough. He's stutter stepping forward. Oh, he's taking a lot of biles to the face, but he does save his hatchery, and as you said, he needs to get across the map ASAP. Oh god, more biles to the face, though.
Oh man, can feel the frustration here from Oreo.
Yeah.
When you're starting to feel that desperate to pull the trigger, unfortunately it leads to a couple of micro mistakes like this.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where Oreo, he's recognized that, okay, it's too much time has passed, I can't go for that counterattack, I have to chill at home. And that's the benefit of something like Lurkers, is that it can slow the game down. So even though things have been pretty chaotic and Oreo has been losing a lot, like, he can just, like, defend at home and kind of that mech style of just, like, turtling up in a way.
Yeah, and while he has lost a lot of workers earlier on, he still held on to this 4th base. He's been on 4 bases for quite a bit longer than Demi has. Significantly longer than he has.
Yeah.
So he still has a lot of production to work with, just needs to mine a few more minerals, a bit more gas.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Demi just has been, even though he's had a worse economy, he's just been so efficient. Like, look at his bank. Like,
yeah.
He just
He's
hasn't
already maxed out.
Exactly, like, he just hasn't been wasting his resources. Now he's finally got his Lurkers, his Hydras. Doesn't have any Vipers, though. That's the big difference. Like, Oreo, he's already got 3 of them, like, topped up on energy.
Lightning clouds are going to be huge. Couple of abducts on some of these lurkers are going to be even bigger. Ooh. If you can bait Demi into this, but Demi does not take the bait.
No, he does not, but Demi already loses one of his lurkers. At the same time, the mutants were across the map. They're still across the map. Oh my god, actually, lurker harass. At the same time, Oreo's going to be losing his own base.
A little bit of a funny base race on our hands here.
Yeah.
So Demi's going to lose, okay, just 1 base.
I mean, Oreo just lost 1, and Oreo may be able to gain 2. He definitely does get this 4th base, just barely with his Ravagers. More importantly, he forces Demi all the way back home.
You know, he just retakes his base earlier on. Detection is still gonna take a little while to get here.
Yeah, finally the Spore does reposition. Also, Demi has eyes on this area. There's nothing here, so in comes the army, and he can just snipe the hatchery.
Just like so. Every single lurker is going to burrow right on top of this, and Demi needs to make a decision. Go across the map or stay at home and defend.
And right now he's just staying at home and defending. No, the Vipers, he just popped out!
Was that every Viper?
He's got 3.
He's still got a few more, but man, that was painful. Demi doesn't have a lot of gas to work with right now. He cannot afford to keep losing gas-intensive units like that.
Yeah, exactly. Oreo just pulling Demi apart here. Earlier, it was Demi who was the one who was dealing all this damage, harassing with all these barred roaches, and to be fair, he's still doing it. Meanwhile, Oreo actually finds a way up the ramp.
The lurkers, man, they're not here to defend. They're actually here to defend for Oreo, but the blinding clouds are pretty goddamn massive.
Yeah, finally the lurkers of Demi reposition, but in come the Vipers. There are the blinding clouds.
And that's just about half of the DPS of Demi taken out of commission, just like so. The abducts are massive, but it's really hard to tell who's winning this fight. Oreo had a little bit of trouble moving up the ramp, but now he's gone and done it. He borrows his lurkers on top of everything. Even the blinding clouds aren't going to be enough, or are they?
We'll see. We have a couple more abducts coming in. It looks like Demi may have enough to defend, but there is still a couple more lurkers here for Oreo. Oreo still trading so well. Killed the Roach War and denied +3.
There's still 2 lurkers still alive here. A couple of Hydras. How does Oreo reinforce this, though? He's lost. He doesn't. He's just spent his entire bank. Lurkers are being taken out very, very efficiently.
Yeah, just like that. It was 2v2, 2 lurkers versus 2 lurkers, and in the end, Oreo came out on top with his abducts. He wins the fight here, and he is breaking into the natural base. At the same time, there were some Bird Roach harassing, but mate, that is not going to be anywhere near enough.
Yeah, Oreo actually has a really nice fortified position by his natural base. Unfortunately, not much mining can happen there, but yeah, it's still some pretty nice Sim City, right? For him to distract the harassment force of Demi.
Yeah, I just don't know how Demi breaks this, because Oreo's got Vipers, he just made a wave of lurkers. The lurker den of Demi is under threat. It's going to be slowly losing health because of the lack of creep. Demi does have a decent position here at his 3rd base, and
Viper?
He actually gets up!
Viper! Oh, man. That is painful.
Yeah, the Viper does get taken out. We do have 1 Viper here for Demi. He does get a Blinding Cloud off, but oh god, there's still some. Oh my god, the lurkers, they just repositioned. They didn't even care.
I didn't even notice Oreo got the lurker upgrades earlier on. Yeah, they're helping out a ton. I mean, Demi being forced to move up his own ramp into a meat grinder. GG is called. Oreo takes game number 1.
GG, well played. God, that was so, like, it felt like Oreo was in such a great position in like the first half of the game, and then everything was just slipping away from him.
That's pretty much what it was.
Oh god.
I was a little worried that that would tilt him a little too much and he'd end up losing grip of that game, but he brought it back in the end. And
yeah.
with that.
I agree. Like it was looking really, yeah, it was looking really scary. Like Demi was trading so efficiently with his Barred Roaches, eventually taking up into his Hydras and his Lurkers, just consistently dealing all this counter damage. But as we saw, like Oreo, the big difference was that Oreo prioritized his Vipers. He had them first, and with them, he was able to make a lot of moves happen. And he was able to just like stand strong with his defenses, and Demi couldn't really break him at all.
Blinding Cloud. It's not just for ZvZ.
Apparently not. Wow.
Yeah.
And with that, Oreo is now up in this series. He only needs 1 more, and I wonder what the vetoes were. Again, personally, I'm surprised that Berlingrad made it through. Like, I feel like these players aren't too fond of the rush maps.
Maybe not in other matchups, but in ZvZ, I mean, Demi especially, I think he has demonstrated that he's more than willing to play the defensive game if he's up against a more aggressive player, and he's up against more of a macro player, he's more than willing to take the role of aggressor.
Yeah. Oh god, I guess so. So I wonder if we're also gonna end up in another small map, or we're gonna end up like in Curious Minds or something crazy like that. That's kind of what I'm thinking of.
Another Pride of Poltaris, and
yeah, let's go.
And they're both gonna steal and they're both gonna take the goal.
Let's go. I think another interesting thing that happened is that Demi did also open up with a pull first, if you remember, which was a little bit odd. It's not something that we usually see, but I guess it shows that he was a little bit scared. It seems like I've lost Yaku. Oh, hello?
What? My Discord restarted itself for some reason.
Yeah. Oh boy. Welcome back.
Yeah. We'll be back.
And yeah, I hope everyone is enjoying themselves here in the chat. You know, Sounder's here, Space Moon Milk is here as well. Quirky, we didn't get to say, but Quirky's here also for his boy.
Quirky with the sword.
Yep. And honestly, you have a pretty nice bracket. I didn't get to see too much of it, but we were a little bit spoiled for choice. Like, there's a lot of good series going on right now.
Yeah.
That
was one other series we were looking at before we before we saw Demi and Oreo up against each other and decided, yep, nope, that's what we have to do.
Definitely. If exclamation shark be in the chat if you want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. But True versus Ryung is going on there in that lower half, and guy, it looks so good. Looks so good. But of course, we have to be here for our boy. And another exciting thing is that the winner of this series goes up against Bjorn.
Yes, in a ZvZ, no less.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's gonna be very exciting.
Exactly. Like, obviously Bjorn is the favorite, but maybe these guys can make something happen. Personally, like, this is where I wish Miyamika was playing, because I know Bjorn can struggle against the more crazy style of play, the unorthodox, like non-meta. If only.
If only. Send some love to Miyamika's way, by the way, chat. He did recently test positive for COVID.
He did.
But that is that, and this is this. As we continue our series on Hardwire LE, which is the predictable choice of a map, which is why I didn't think it was what they were going to go for. In the bottom left-hand corner of the map, so all the way to the bottom left-hand corner, we have a blue Zerg player going for a 12 pool. He is coming down from the land of Brisbane. He is the king of Brisbane. Fucking confirmed, mate. He is representing our very own clan, the CranKy Ducklings. He is Oreo.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Hardwire LE, looking to go for a hatch gas pool opener. We have the Indian Zerg player representing Alpha X. It is Demi.
On Hardwire of all maps, is one that Oreo decided to 12 pool on.
I love it because it's the mind games, right? Like, you play on Berlingrad, and that's the game where Demi opens up safe with the pool first, right? Makes sense because it's Berlingrad, it's small. And he saw that Oreo went for a much more economic opener, so it's like you're luring your opponent into a false sense of security, and then you go for the 12 pool.
Like so. All the links Oreo making their way across the map. Got hide them to Oreo.
Yeah, links are rushing over. It looks like the Overlord of Demi will spot them, so now Demi's well aware. He can select his drones and get ready to pull the boys. And he's gonna need to, and it's all about the drone micro to make sure he doesn't lose too much. Oh my god, Demi is
wow.
He's crazy. He's going for the third.
Look, just in case he loses his natural.
Where's he going?
Right? He needs to. Is he drone scouting? He can't be drone scouting.
I guess so. I guess he wanted to keep the drone alive. Question mark? I don't know what the hell was going on there with that guy.
Sent it back home. But yeah, and the drone is going back home in the end. Drone dance is happening.
Yeah, drone dance is happening. The hatchery's already at less than half HP, but here come the lings. Oh, the surround!
Oh, that's a beautiful surround right there. And with that, Demi should be able to keep his main alive. Yep. Oreo really wants it though.
Yeah, like if that surround didn't happen, then Oreo would have so much more to work with, and he could maybe overwhelm these lings and maybe get a drone kill. But honestly, Demi's defense was pretty amazing. We can see like he only lost a single ling. He's able to survive and keep his hatchery alive.
This is why Demi's not afraid to play on maps like Berlingrad.
Yeah, he has some of the.
He knows exactly how to.
Yeah, he has some of the best drone drilling in Southeast Asia. Like we've seen him defend so well against this.
He plays against Go-Go Joey and Ender constantly. He needs to. He needs to have good drone drilling.
It's true. It's very true. Oh god! And just like that, you know, Demi, he's now ahead. Sure, there was a little sliding time, but look at the drone lead that Demi has right now. Oreo, he's gonna have to try and catch up and cut some corners at the same time to do so. We can see that he's opting to skip a Bailey Nest and go straight into a Spine instead to help defend.
Yeah, well, it's like you said, he knows he needs to pump out as many drones as he can. That drone from earlier from Demi, there's that third that it originally wanted to go for.
Third is on the way. Demi, he's not cutting corners. There's the Baneling nest as well, just in case a link flood comes out. He's going to have access to those Banelings. And yeah, we'll see what the plan is here for Oreo, as, yep, he does end up skipping it, does cancel the spine when he realizes there's no link flood, and he's trying to go straight into roaches.
Just completely walling off. Still not neglecting his link count. He needs to have some presence on the map if he doesn't have a spine crawler.
Yeah, I kind of like this. It's kind of like a follow-up all-in. We see the wall, we see an upgrade on the way. This kind of looks like roaches, but Oreo, he's banking up a lot of links.
Oh yeah, that Baneling Nest of Demi won't save him once +1 Carapace finishes up.
Yeah, but it's going to be so important, right? Like, Demi, unfortunately, he's not morphing in safety Banes, but once these Overlords spot the Lings, like, he needs to make as many Banes as possible, man. Oh god, he's going! He's going for it!
Reaction times. Fireball Boost has finished up. Here come 4 Banes on the way. Oreo's Carapace still quite a ways off. He still needs to be very, very careful with his Lings for now.
Oh god, this is gonna be so close. Oreo he makes a beeline straight for that third base. He's gonna try and get it, but the Banelings are coming in. Oh god! Oh god!
Coming in, but they don't connect. At least not yet. Some very good stuff coming in for Oreo. No, oh, okay. I was so worried. I thought he'd be backed into a corner, but he does pull away.
Jesus Christ. Oreo backs off, and again, a massive shame here for Oreo because he cut a lot of drones to make that link flood happen, and his goal there was to at least get a cancel on the third or kill the third, and he just couldn't make it happen.
Yeah, he was taking a little bit of a gamble going for this follow-up all-in, but the fact that it didn't work out, yeah, I don't like his chances anymore. This game goes on, he's trying as best he can to get a third base up and running, but look at how behind he is in the worker count.
Yeah, I mean, that's just for larva. Like, he's working on roaches right now. Oh! As we are getting a bit of a pause here. But again, the... Oh.
What?
Yeah, it looks like, there may be... Oh. Never mind. It looks like there was just some latency issues, but it looks like it's cleared up now. But what I was about to say is that Oreo, he's still very much so all in. He's link flooding behind this, roaches are coming out across the map, and this changes things a little bit. The goal of these roaches is to try and snipe those Banelings, and so those links can flood in and deal the damage.
On the flip side, the goal of these Lings from Demi is to surround the roaches and allow his own roaches to get right on top of everything.
Oh god.
Like so.
Yeah.
Sandwich.
Oreo pulling the trigger a little bit too early here. Finally, his Lings are flooding in, but it was a little bit too late. Half of his roaches have already died. They've already gone down.
Alright, so let's back away once again. Tail between his legs, but I think he knows the writing is on the wall.
Yeah, like, it's a sad time to drone up now.
Yeah.
Drones are on the way, but Demi, he's been ahead by 10 plus drones this entire time. This madman even made spines. Like, he is playing this out so safely.
Perhaps too safe. Oreo has eyes on this entire army. He may be banking on Demi once again playing a lot more passively, giving Oreo this time to catch back up economically.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like, Oreo is catching up. There are certain aspects where he's behind. Like, for example, he still has no lair. He's been working off of hatch tech this entire time. That's how desperate the scenario has been for him. And at the moment, I think it's okay. Like, sure, he's behind in roach speed, but that doesn't really matter if he's not pushing out across the map with roaches.
Exactly. These handful of Lings from Oreo have a lot of work cut out for them. They don't have to kill anything. They just need to keep Demi's roaches back. And for now, they're kind of doing it.
Yeah.
Demi eclipsing Oreo in the army count, but he's not using that army.
Exactly. So it's kind of, in a way, wasted supply right now. Obviously, it won't be wasted if he does move out. And I'm really concerned for Oreo if Demi decides to try and hit a +1 timing. But Demi also started a second Evo, so to me it tells me that he maybe wants to wait for even more upgrades before he moves out. Maybe.
I'm just keeping my eyes glued on these roaches and on this mini-map. There's the move out just as +1 finishes up, and Oreo, unfortunately, still needs quite a bit more time on his hands.
Yeah, here we go. Demi sending everything across the map. What do we have at home to defend? We have a decent roach count. We don't have any spines. And even if it was just roach versus roach, like, Oreo just doesn't have the numbers on his side.
But maybe he can get a positioning. He can win a positional battle, not if Demi forces his way past the choke point.
Oh god, exactly. We have a couple of Ravagers here for Oreo, and he's trying to force Demi back as best he can. At the same time, Oreo goes for a link run by, but the wall is a wall.
The wall is a wall, and Demi does not back away. GG is called, and we're getting our ace match. Oh boy.
Yeah, GG. Oh god, Oreo hyper aggressive this game. 12 pull into Link Flood, into Roach follow-up all in. But Demi was just so solid defensively.
Yeah. It is a little bit of a head scratcher as to why Oreo went for a build like that. I mean, he has mentioned quite a number of times in the past that he's not too fond of going for 12 pools or, these more, in his words, coin flippy builds. But yeah, I guess he just wanted to practice while he can.
Well, it's one of those, we were talking about it, it's one of those things where Oreo, he was already up in this series. Sometimes you flip a coin to take an easy W, right? An easy quick 2-0 and catch your opponent off guard. And there's a world where maybe it works. Again, there's a world where maybe Oreo doesn't get surrounded at the start of the game,
Yeah. Or he kills that hatchery pretty early on and whatnot.
No, that's where you gotta respect your opponent, right? Like Demi, like he's an amazing defensive player. That's kind of when I think of Demi among the rest of the Southeast Asian Zergs, he's one of the least aggressive of them. And one of the
but
more...
again, that's relative.
Yeah, definitely relative. But he's a lot more, like, solid and a lot more willing to go into the macro game and less cheesy. So it can be hard to catch him off guard like that.
Very much so. I mean, he was fortunate to fire so the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
It's gonna take something very, very, very unorthodox to catch him off guard.
Exactly. So that's kind of, in a way, that's kind of like the best practice partners you want, right? Like playing against Miyamika, Gogo Joey, and Ender just time and time again. I don't know what that does to your mental state. Like, look, there's a reason why Demi turned to religion, okay, and plays like his Bible keeps him sane, okay.
on his mouse.
It's the light that leads him, mate. Without it, like, I don't know.
We were mentioning lands earlier on. That's probably the thing that I want to see the most if we do get lands coming back and if Demi goes to them. I want to see Demi play with his mouse hand above a stack of books that he apparently does.
Yeah. Of course, man, of course.
Throw the Bible in there at some point.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's something that everyone misses. And I'm sure we'll slowly get back over the course of the year and over the course of the coming years as well. All those lands. And even you yourself, like, it would be cool, right? Like, I don't know if you've been to a land setting before.
Not once.
You gotta have your bag. You gotta get your Ryung keyboard and your
the Ryung keyboard,
your mouse, your earphones or your headset.
Yeah, people sign the back of it. The keyboard, I mean. For Ryung specifically, I'll just ask him to trace his name on the spacebar.
Ah, beautiful. Never clean it after that, mate. Never clean it.
Sorry. Wait, you're supposed to clean your keyboard?
God damn it, Yaku.
I actually do these keyboards too.
Shaking my head. But yeah, here we go. We are diving into game number 3, and at the moment, The reason why it's taking a little bit to get into these lobbies is that Demi, fun fact, Demi is actually switching his VPN between games.
Just one of those things that helps a little bit depending on the server. I know Demi doesn't really use it too much for the Singapore server, as it's pretty close by, but yeah, for the Australia server, for the Korean server and whatnot, it does keep latency down a little bit.
Yep. It does. It definitely does. But here we go. Finally, he has set up his VPN, and we're diving into game.
That's especially important for a player like Demi, who has such an active style in it.
Ah, yeah.
Alright, here we are now. I called it! Pride of Altaris for our ace match. We're in the bottom right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We have our red Zerg player coming down from the land of India. He's, of course, the player representing Alpha X, the Shark himself. Patrolling those waters of the Bermuda Triangle, we have Demi.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pride of Altaris LE, we have the Australian Zerg player representing our very own, the CranKy Ducklings. It is Oreo.
Opting for a hatch for us. Both our players do, but one of them decides to be a little cheeky with it.
One of them knows how to play StarCraft.
Yeah.
Let's go. Demi does go for the hatch first at the goal base. Now, something important to bear in mind is that in a ZvZ, this is not like Blackburn. This hatchery, this gold, can be very difficult to hold on to if scouted.
If.
Oh boy. So yeah, Demi's being a little bit cheeky here. Obviously, these overlords have a lot of work to do. Eventually, Oreo's going to get across the map, and even if he doesn't check the goal base, once he checks the natural and there's nothing there, then it's like, oh, okay, like there's only one other place, or I guess two other places you could be.
Well, it depends on whether or not you go by the name of Solar. Oreo already sees transferring drones. He knows what's coming his way, and he should be sending out a force of links to that gold.
Yeah, there we go. Drones have been revealed. There we go. And now Oreo, he has a decision to make. So, fun fact, I was actually casting Cup Hyperion yesterday, and Jim Rising versus the Zerglord, the exact same thing happened, where the Zerglord went for this hatch first. And Jim Rising, what he did was he actually skipped link speed, went straight for a Roach Warren, and like pushed out across the map with like 6 roaches, 6 roaches, and a bunch of links.
Was that the game that the Zerglord almost won, but then he moved his Spine Crawler?
No, that was a different one. But yeah, it was like a great move, and then Jim Rising was able to just deny this base perpetually, and the Zerglord was just completely screwed. Oreo is approaching this a little bit differently. He did skip link speed again, just like Jim, but he's going for a fast lair instead.
Huh? Roaches?
I hope so.
Kind of, yeah. Mutas would take a long time, wouldn't it? But at the same time, he has no Roach Horn.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about it. Like, there's +1 range, but we need to see a Roach Warren at some point here from Oreo, especially because the lair is about to finish up, and like, what was the purpose of the fast lair? No.
Timings unfortunately do not quite line up, but he is going for Mutas in the end.
Okay.
Cancels +1.
I'll be honest, I don't think this is gonna work, but I want to see if it does work.
I want it to work personally, but I do have some hesitations.
Yeah, so The thing that I worry about this, you touched on it earlier. You're like, it's gonna take a while, right? It's gonna take a long time for these mutas to pop out, and because of that, you're giving Demi like the room for this to pay for itself, to actually mine from this gold and to get value from it, and to get ahead because of it in a way.
Exactly. He's already working on his own ground forces. A lot of roaches coming out.
Yeah, roaches are on the way. Demi hasn't seen anything, by the way. Like, he's only seen the Evo Chamber upgrading, and that's it. So he doesn't, to be fair, he doesn't know about the mutas. And if he doesn't check, then maybe the mutas are the way to do it.
We'll see. I feel like best case scenario here for Oreo is that we get a repeat of game number 1, where Demi, again, just plays more passively, hangs back, and Oreo is able to use his mutas to get enough map control to catch back up, but Demi's already broken through.
Yeah.
He is not playing passive at all anymore.
Yeah, Demi's here with his roaches and his lings. The army of Oreo is just barely coming up, but Oreo's using a lot of these drones. Eventually, the mutas will clean all of this up and move out across the map, but Demi has a lot of time to respond and a lot of time to throw down spores.
Reinforced with roaches. He has time to do just about anything. Now Oreo hasn't lost too much here, only five workers, but considering Demi has a gold, it may as well be his entire mineral line.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this gold base again has just done so well for Demi. There's that spore that's on the way, by the way, and there are not enough mutas to try and deny this. A couple of lings and roaches are about to show up, but like, Demi has a force on the ground.
This is getting pretty precarious, to say the least.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like, Oreo's just playing from behind at the moment. He's got the worst economy. He has, I guess, superior tech in a way, and maybe this is his way of approaching this, right? He's like, you know what? I'm not going to deny your gold. I'm just going to try and force you to stay at home so I can catch up. It's just it's just a hard way to play this out.
Well, it worked for him in game 1, so...
Yeah, true.
Let's see if we can pull it off twice. It would be nice if he took that gold base as a way to catch back up, but yeah, he doesn't want to take any risks right now.
Yeah, I guess not. And these mutas, they've done a decent job. You know, he was able to snipe the gases here at the natural base, keeping Demi on only 2 gases. Sniping a couple of overseers and overlords here and there. And Oreo's working on his own roach counts. But again, it's going to take a while to catch up to Demi. Like, Demi's still got a massive army lead. Not a drone lead, though, but, I mean, to be fair, he doesn't need a drone lead.
Yeah, I was gonna say. But Oreo as well, so about to overtake Demi when it comes to the upgrades. So again, all he really needs to do right now is to buy himself enough time to get to a stable economy and pump out more and more roaches. And he's doing it.
Yeah. And I think Demi's kind of being led, like down the wrong path. Because Demi is pumping out a lot of queens. He's pumping out queen after queen after queen. And at a certain point, I feel like Demi has to recognize, hold on, that mutacloud hasn't gotten bigger. You know? Like, hey, hold on.
It's getting smaller.
Yeah, it is. There's been 6 mutas, and there's just been nothing but 6 mutas. Mass queen isn't necessarily what you want against a mass roach army. To be fair, Oreo still needs more time to get it up and running, though, and Demi's coming across the map.
Giving him, yep, that's a Galari Constitution helping out. Ravagers will barely pop out, but I feel like maybe Demi pulled the trigger too soon. A lot of these roaches are starting to trickle in instead of fighting more cohesively. It doesn't matter in the end, though. When you have those numbers, GG is called, and Demi will take that series 2-1, getting his revenge on Oreo. Well played. See, that's what happens, viewers, when you take the gold base on Pride of Altaris.
Yeah, GG, well played. I mean, I would say that's what happens when your gold base doesn't get punished. Because Demi took the gold and he just kept it. Like, he was able to just keep it and secure it, and Oreo didn't really do much to stop that from happening. Again, I question the muta response to it. I'm sure Oreo does find success with mutas, but it just feels so, so risky. I mean, muta's always risky, right?
To say the least.
Mm.
Unless you're Jimbo. Or Demi, I guess.
I guess so. But with that, congratulations, Demi, for taking the series and moving on to the next round.
Yeah, to face Byun. No less.
Did you play the Korean casters, by the way? I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, my mind just blocked it out. I did not know what the hell had just happened.